Hey, this is Sarkis Love. Today I want to talk to you about being an awareness activist. So what does that mean? For me, I call myself an awareness activist sometimes. I don't actually do that a lot, but when people sometimes ask me, like, how am I helping? Right? And there's these people out there that call themselves activists. And I have a little bit of a problem with that. This is why. I've noticed that in general, people that call themselves activists are against something. Right? And being against something, in my heart, in my view, is ultimately a violence. It's a continuation of violence. And it's a war, like a war against something else. And I don't know if you've noticed, but violence and war hurts. And it's a big problem, right? So, as an awareness activist, what that means for me is that I acknowledge that the most powerful tool I possess is awareness. The ability to self-reflect. And why is that a powerful tool? It's a powerful tool because when I believe that one thing is better than another thing, that that thing is wrong and I'm right, that's violence. That's me being violent in the world, right? And so what I notice is that my way of assisting is to be aware of where I'm violent toward myself and toward the world. And like, for example, people think the world needs to be saved. What I notice is when I tell myself the story that everything out there needs to change in order for my world to get better, that is a problem. That's a big problem. Because there's a big-ass world out there. Right? And maybe those people don't want to change the way that they're doing it. Right? So when I believe the thought that the world needs to change, that's a violent thought. That's me having the arrogance to say that billions of other beings need to be a different way so my world gets good, right? And here's what I know is the masters, like Jesus, Buddha, there's so many, right? They didn't save the world. What makes me think I could, right? So maybe those beings, those extraordinary beings, were pointing to something else. We can call it love, accepting things as they are. But for me, that level of acceptance and that awareness takes me to a place in myself that is peaceful, a place that accepts what is. Right? And I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying that until I clean up the violence here, what's the point of even looking out there? Right? And furthermore, if I'm going to be an activist, that I'm going to tell everyone else this is the way it should be, right? That's just being violent. That's just continuing the war. So my invitation to you is find out where you think other people are doing it wrong. You know, where am I right and you're wrong? And if you can find those things in yourself, I can, pretty easily. Anywhere that I'm angry or suffering, I have a belief that something should be a different way, right? Especially if I think that you should be a different way. Okay, warning, right? So that's where being an awareness activist is powerful, because I deal with my own violence. I take responsibility for where I am creating divisions in the world. Here's one that I actually like. Black Lives Matter. How can you go against that, right? That's not against anyone. We're just saying these lives matter. Isn't that beautiful? Right? So a quick commentary on that. Ultimately, saying that there's such a thing as black people and white people, that is problematic, because obviously it sets up, there's this group and there's this group, and somehow we're different, and so the mind goes crazy with that. The mind makes that into a war. And I personally don't see black people and white people and brown people and yellow people and all that. If I hold up a color, like let's say a paint color, and we say, this color is white, and then you have 100 people stand next to that color that supposedly are white people, probably none of them are going to match up to that color on the paint strip. Same goes for black and all the other things. So that's maybe a different video right there. But I invite you, especially the activists out there, which thank you so much for speaking out. I want to hear your voices. And take responsibility for your own violence. And that's what I'm doing. I'm taking responsibility. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to try and see where my own violence is impacting the world and myself. Thank you.